Hello and welcome to episode 17 of Level Up Your Inner Power, the podcast where we explore how you can shift your energy to level up your life. I'm Danielle Flood.
And I'm Juliet Martine, and we want to give a really big shout out to you.
Yes.
Because if you're here with us, it means on some level you know there's a whole lot more to you that you're wanting to level up within yourself and your life to really live your full potential. And we're here to help you do exactly that. So we really want to celebrate you. And today we're sharing some tips with you on how you can transform the energy in your home, in your workplace, in whatever environments and spaces you find yourself in to really elevate your vibrational frequency so you can live a more abundant life.
Okay, so over the last couple of episodes, we've been diving deep into what it really means to be the energy boss, the CEO or chief energy officer in your own life. Because as we've mentioned in previous podcasts, everything is energy. And your personal energy, it is the most valuable asset you've got. It's literally the foundation of how you show up, how you lead, how you create, how you live. But here's the thing, when life starts feeling out of control, like when the pressure piles on or things start to feel chaotic, our energy takes a serious hit. And if you're someone who's naturally open or empathetic, you'll know how easy it is to pick up on other people's stuff too. The negativity, the fear, the scarcity. It can all start to seep into your energy field if you're not conscious of it. But there's another sneaky one that we don't talk enough about, Juliet, and that's the energy of the spaces you spend time in. What we're talking about is all of your physical surroundings, because often it's the energy of our physical environments that impacts how we think, how we feel, and how we operate day to day. Like if you think about it, if your space is cluttered or it's heavy or it's stagnant, chances are your energy will be too. So it's just not about managing the people or the chaos. It's about learning to become aware of the vibration of your environment and how it either fuels your energy or completely drains it.
Yeah, one of the things I'm especially sensitive to is the energy of the environments I'm in. Mm-hmm. And we can all pick up on the energies of spaces, whether we realize it or not. You know, you walk into a pub and the energy there feels dramatically different to, say, the energy in a really loving, warm, big, happy family home, or the beautiful energy when you're walking through a forest, or the really hectic energy, busy, chaotic kind of energy in maybe like a really busy shopping mall.
Oh, yeah, shopping malls are crazy. It makes me think about when I worked with Intimo, doing bra fittings in people's homes, going to all these different homes. And as soon as I walked in that door, I knew if I was going to have a good party or not, just from looking at the environment and whether it was cluttered, whether it was clean, you could just feel it in the environment, right?
Yeah, and it tells you so much about not just the energy of the space, but the energy of the people living in it.
Yeah.
And when I was raising my children, I deliberately created a really harmonious energy in the space of our home. And whenever my children would have friends over, especially when they were teenagers and old enough to articulate it, they'd all comment on how much they loved coming to our house because it always felt really peaceful and really calm.
Beautiful.
And, you might walk up to a colleague's workstation and everything is piled up high on the desk and disorganized and overflowing, and straight away your stress levels go up and you start to feel anxious and overwhelmed in a way you didn't moments before you entered that space. Or maybe you walk into a room and immediately feel uneasy because, something's just gone on in that space. Maybe someone's had an argument or, something doesn't feel right and easy in this space. And there's that expression, you could cut the air with a knife.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh. Yeah. I've been known to sometimes say, man, I need to bring in my sage and sage out some of these rooms just to clear the energy in the room, right? Because you're right, it lingers and you can feel it.
Yeah, it lingers. Like if there's been a really antsy meeting go on in a meeting room, you can walk into the space and go, whoa, okay, I think I'll just turn around and walk back out again.
Yeah, absolutely.
And as children, we're innately sensitive to energies, to the energies of the people who are interacting with us and to the spaces that we're in. And many, take a baby into a space where the energy isn't good and the baby will immediately get tense and clingy and start to cry.
So true, so true.
And many of us lose touch with that sensitivity as we get older and become adults. However, that doesn't mean that the energy of the spaces we're in isn't actually affecting our own energies. I mean, just because you can't see air, it doesn't mean the quality of the air you're breathing isn't affecting your health and your vitality and your ability to perform at your best, right? So the moment we enter a space where we're actually connecting with the energy of that space. And I'm not just referring to the energies of the people who are in that space, but the energies of the space itself as well. And, the most simple way for you to get a really tangible sense of what I'm talking about is if I were to ask you as you're listening to imagine you walk into a house where the person living there has a tendency of hoarding and there's loads of stuff just piled up high to the rafters. Just imagine being in that space. What is it?
Oh, sorry. I'm such a visual person.
No judgment here.
No, there's no judgment, but you can feel it straight away, right? Like
you can.
You can feel it in your body. Like you can feel how thick the air is and how heavy it is and like almost like you're in a space that's just filled and full and piled up, right? Packed. It's almost like you can't breathe properly.
It's interesting because I've got my hand over my throat right now and I was kind of coughing and moving away from the microphone to clear my throat because immediately you can connect with what that energy feels like.
Totally. And it's like being trapped in a space where everything's all stuck and old and cluttered, like the energy hasn't moved in like years and there's nowhere to land and there's nowhere to be and you can literally feel the weight of it, that kind of space where even taking a deep breath feels hard and moving forward feels almost impossible, right?
It's not almost impossible. It actually is impossible, totally impossible to move forward when we're hanging on to a lot of old stuff, which is what hoarding is. And again, no judgment when we find it difficult to let go of things and we need to hold on to them because ultimately we don't feel safe letting go of them, that space becomes filled with all of that old energy and it's not possible to move forward.
Yeah.
When we're holding on to that old energy and we become stuck as well. The energy in the space becomes stuck and we become stuck. But often we're stuck and then the energy in our space becomes stuck. So, chicken and egg, which comes first? Because, guess what? The energy of the spaces we occupy is usually reflective of the energy of the people within it.
Oh, yeah, that's so true. That's so true.
And if we want to experience more happiness, more love, more joy, more abundance, which is, a big part of what this episode is about, and vitality in our lives, we need to not only elevate our personal energy to that higher vibrational frequency, but we want to elevate the energy in the spaces we occupy to reflect that same high vibrational frequency as well. Because as you pointed out, Danielle, in our previous episode, when you change the physical state of something, it has a ripple effect on the way we feel within ourself as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Actually, it might have been in episode 15
Yeah, it was episode 15.
It's all about being your own energy boss and
Yeah.
how you can clean and clear and protect yourself on an energetic level to not take on negative energies from the people around you. So if you haven't listened to the previous 2 episodes yet, hit the pause button now, please, and add it to your playlist so you can listen to it next.
Yeah.
But, what other physical spaces do we actually inhabit that could potentially affect our energy in ways that hold us back or propel us forward in life, that elevate our energy or cause our energy to become more heavy and flat and dense?
Yeah, because when you really stop and think about it, we're constantly moving in and out of different spaces all the time. Like, think about your day. You wake up in your bedroom, you wander into the bathroom, you make your way to the kitchen, then you're out the door, you're maybe on a train, maybe on a bus, in a car, then you're walking through crowds, and you get to work, maybe you're in an office or maybe you're in your own building site or maybe you're caring for someone in a centre or working in a busy public space like a hospital or a shop. Wherever you are, you're constantly moving through energy, through spaces that all hold their own vibration.
Yeah.
And whether we realize it or not, those spaces, they're impacting how we feel and how we think and how much energy we've actually got left to give. And let's not forget some of the most impactful spaces we tend to occupy more than anywhere else these days. And we've talked about it in previous podcasts, but I'm talking about the digital spaces because, yes, these spaces have energies too.
Oh, absolutely.
They do. And we don't just flick on an evening news for 30 minutes every evening anymore. We just don't do that anymore because we're being affected by what's going on in global spaces more than any other time in history, like social media environments, all the chat forums. I mean, think about all of the viral energies that are circulating in the world right now through the spaces we visit online. Like, it's hectic and it affects our energy, right? If you think about it, after an hour of scrolling or swiping or chatting or liking or commenting or being commented upon, like all of that affects our energy. I know sometimes I can just doom scroll forever and I'm there and I'll start scrolling and I'm sort of smiling and I laugh and I think something's really funny and then my algorithm changes and then, I don't know, it gets into something a little bit more depressing or it talks about health or it might talk about menopause, might talk about all these things that start to trigger me and then my whole energy changes, right? Like it's crazy. And when we talked about it in our previous episodes, we've said we don't always have control over what's going on in every space we enter into, but we do get to decide what spaces we choose to remain in.
Yeah, we might not be aware of the energy of the space when we walk in the room, be it a physical room or, an online room, but we do get to decide if we stay in that space. And, I had a really interesting experience a few years ago when I was holidaying with my children and we'd rented this Airbnb house for the week to have a really nice getaway together with the extended family. And as soon as we walked into the space, my daughter actually walked in first and she took a few steps into the space, went up the stairs and she came straight back down straight away and she said, "Oh, Mum, the energy in this space feels really awful."
Oh, wow. Yeah.
I don't mean to be difficult or ungrateful because I'd arranged it. She said, "But I don't think I can actually stay here." And I looked at her and I walked through the house and she was so right. Like the energy in every room felt really funky and I'm not talking in a good funky way. I'm talking about
a horrible funky way.
Off. Like every window in the house was painted shut and the heater thermostat was broken and
what? Every window was
painted shut. Couldn't open any windows. And the thermostat on the heater must have been broken because it was like pumping out really hot air and it was a really warm spring day. So we were like,
trying to kill you? Were they trying to kill
you? I don't know. And
it sounds horrendous.
And like we weren't being, precious princesses. Like the furniture was falling apart, the light bulbs were missing from lights, and this was the clincher. The smoke detector was hanging off the ceiling by a thread, by a wire. And then we like went out the back, and there was a pool there, which was going to be lovely, and it was just filled with green slime.
And this was on Airbnb.
It was on Airbnb, and
come a long way, Airbnb.
but more than the appearance of how it looked, the energy felt really, really, really awful, and everyone felt it. It wasn't just my daughter and I who are a bit more energetically in tune. So we made the decision to find somewhere else to stay. We chose to leave that space, even though it was quite difficult to suddenly find somewhere else to stay. But, we didn't want to be affected by the energy of the space if we stayed there. And so sometimes we can choose to leave a space that doesn't feel right for us, be that a physical space of a room. You're in a party and you go into a room and you go, oh, not that room, turn around and leave it. Or, the energetic space of a relationship. That's a vessel, that's a space. Sometimes you make the decision that the energy is not right and you leave the relationship.
Yeah.
Or you can make the decision to leave a virtual space of a digital forum that doesn't feel good for us. We get to take care of our personal energy in making those choices to enter or exit the spaces in our lives. And we can also be our own energy boss when it comes to using our inner powers to clear and level up the energies of the spaces that we do choose to occupy, be that in your home or your workplace or community areas, or any other spaces you might, invest a lot of time and energy in. So you can elevate your own energy to operate at a much higher vibrational frequency to align with your more abundant self in your spaces.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's level up here and get into some power moves you can do to take charge of clearing the energy in the spaces you occupy. And the first step to doing that is for you to get really clear on what kind of energy you want to be in.
Mm-hmm.
So step one is for you to take a moment, and you might want to grab a notepad and a pen just to keep some notes for yourself here. And step one is about getting really clear about what it is you want to manifest in your life. And if you want a little bit of a refresher on clarity, we talked about clarity in episode 4. So you might want to pause this now and then cue episode 4 to listen to after this episode, because we really talked about how you can set real clear intent and have clarity in terms of what it is that you want in your life.
Yep.
And that might be an improved relationship, or you want more love, or you want more fulfillment in your work, or more health and vitality. You might be wanting more connection, or more joy, or more financial freedom. So this is a really important first step to just really get clear about what it is that you want to manifest in your life. And just take your time.
Your life is a space as well. So, what is the energy that you want to manifest in your life? View your life as a space. What do you want to call in and bring in, and get really clear about that? I love that first step.
It's such a crucial step, because in order for us to manifest in our life, we have to be really clear in the intent of what we want to manifest in our life. So take your time with this one, guys, because, it's the more you get clear, the more you really drill down, the more you can really manifest in your life. So that's step one. And step two, this is one of my favorites is, I've got a lot of favorites, but this is all about feeling into the energy. I'm a feeler. So step two is about what's the energy of that feel like? So the things that you want to manifest in your life, what does that energy feel like? And I really invite you to feel into it. Like, really imagine your future self and how you're operating and what the space looks like. So, for instance, it might be a really organized space, or you might feel more connected in that space. You're got more heart and your soul is more open, or it feels more uplifting, or it feels more enlivened. So really tune into the energy of what that feels like for you, because that is really powerful to feel and evoke that feeling of the energy into your body, into your heart, and into your mind.
Yeah. So get clear on what you want and listen to episode 4 if you need a bit of help with that, and then feel into what's the energy of what it is I want to manifest, that, the space of my life. What does that feel like? And then the third step is to start to think about the physical spaces that you occupy that can support you in manifesting the things you want to experience in life. So I like to just focus on one physical space at a time, and it might be like your home environment or your work environment. And then even within that, maybe focus on one area at a time, so it doesn't become too overwhelming. So maybe not the whole of your home, but maybe, start with your bedroom or your bathroom or, your desk at work.
Start with the place that you're in the most. So is that your lounge room? Is it the kitchen? Is it your bedroom? Like, I always find that's really helpful. Like the space that I'm in the most is what I focus on first.
Great idea. Fantastic. So as you focus on that one space, just connect in with your heart and your body and feel into what's the current state of this space showing me about my energy at the moment. So, as you think about your lounge room, let's take that example, and you think about the way your lounge room looks and feels at the moment, what's that reflecting back to you about where your energy is currently at? Because remember we said, the space will reflect the energy of the people within it. So if the energy of the space currently doesn't feel aligned with what you want to be manifesting, you want a life that's really flowing and enlivened and full and abundant and energizing, but the space in, let's say, your lounge room feels, cluttered, chaotic, maybe, a bit flat, a bit lackluster. You walk into it and it's like, a bit blah. Maybe it's really tightly controlled and everything is in its, perfect place. I can sometimes get a bit that way myself. Or, maybe it's, it's just kind of lacking warmth, and what you're wanting for yourself is, love in your life and richness, abundance of relationships, and the space currently feels a bit disconnected or lacking in balance. Then, what's that telling you about your own energy at the moment, where you're at? And, often, well, always, we want to manifest things into our life because of where we're currently at. So it will be a reflection. There will automatically be a mismatch in the energy of the space with where you're wanting to take yourself. So then what you do is you clear out anything in that space that is not a vibrational match with how you want to be feeling and how you want the space to be feeling. So this is the real action part of re-energizing your spaces to align with your abundant self. So you go through the cupboards, clear out anything that's not the right energy. If there's outdated medicines in the cabinet in the bathroom, clear them out, dispose of them safely, but clear them out. Foods that are, past their use-by date in your pantry that you're holding on to. Like, what's the energy there? Am I holding on to it because I'm worried I might not have enough in the future?
I'm just going to put my hand up right there that my pantries are like the world's going to end, because I got this thing that I'm going to run out of food. Like, and I say this because I've done this. I've cleaned out my pantry and I've thrown out so much stuff. Man, it felt good, but because I let go of the worry that I'm going to starve tomorrow because I'm not going to have any food in my house. But it changes everything when you do this. I'm laughing because I have to do it often because I'm a hoarder when it comes to food.
Food only.
Food only.
We'll put that one down to a past life experience.
Maybe. Let's do that then, shall we?
So, we hold on to things because we're frightened that, we might not have enough in the future. So what's that? That's a lack mindset. It's a scarcity mindset. And that's the complete opposite of being in our abundant self. So clear out the old stuff. Maybe there's, in your lounge room, there's, a little pile of stashed away photos of your ex-partner that, it's still sitting there because maybe, you don't want to throw it out because you're frightened of you might end up on your own. Well, that's coming from a scarcity mindset. That's not a vibrational match with the things you want to be manifesting into your life. New love, new abundance, new happiness and joy. So put those things away, clear them, release them out of the space. Old clothing, God, that's a big one. We hold on to the old clothing that we think we're going to fit into, or we just don't want to let go of.
Why do we do that? I know. We all do it, don't we? You just like, one day. Like what day? It's not going to happen. Get rid of it.
Pass it on to someone who can make good use of it.
Yeah, donate it. Like just get rid of it. Totally. It's crazy.
And recognize the reasons that you're holding on to things as you clear out the clutter of anything that is not a vibrational match with where you want your life to be. And what you're doing in that process, space clearing, you are making room for new energy to come in.
Yes.
And that's so important. Nature abhors a vacuum. So when you clear stuff out, automatically it creates this drawing effect for new energy to come in. But if the old energy is filling up your available spaces, well, new energy is just not going to come in because the energy is stuck.
Yeah, it makes me think about, how we always we have to do a spring clean because, in spring we have to dust everything away because we've been in hibernation during winter. So we have these massive spring cleans. And how good does it feel when you have a massive spring clean of the house? I know we're just playing on that word, but everything changes. Energetically, things change. Different things come into your life because you sort of really you've freshened everything up. You've got rid of all of that old stagnant energy and you've overhauled everything and it feels amazing. So we have to spring clean more often.
Yeah, so that spring clean is both the removing anything that's not a vibrational match and also then giving everything a good physical clean to freshen up the energy.
Absolutely.
So, and most of all, don't bring in, once you've cleared the space, don't bring in any energies that are not a vibrational match. So, for example, doom scrolling in the bedroom for hours on end in the living room. Don't bring that into the space if that's not a vibrational match of where you want to go. Put some parameters around it. Set some time limits on it. Stick to it as a way of honoring the new energies you're creating in your home and bring new things into that space. So that brings us on to the next step. What do I need to add into the space? Now that I've cleared out, what do I need to bring into the space to support how I want to be feeling and living and flowing in my space, to support that future version of me? So, if I want to be really leveling up my life and taking charge of things and manifesting the things that I desire in life, then what do I need to bring into those space? Maybe, first of all, I need to take care of the space differently. Make my bed every morning first thing before I leave the bedroom as a reflection that I'm going to take better care of myself and my space and really appreciate the things that I have. Maybe bring some things into the space that will help you get organized. Some systems, some, files, a chest of drawers to get more organized and to be able to put things away in their space. Maybe you need to bring more color into the room. You want to be manifesting love. Bring in the colors of passion. Bring in the rose quartz crystal. Bring in the candles. Create the space that is conducive for the energy of love. My partner and I, we've recently moved house and we were kind of hitting this sticking point a couple of weeks ago. And, I said, I just don't feel the heart and soul of our home yet. And there was an energetic reason for it. So we spent the next few days actually bringing more things into the space, hanging paintings, hanging family pictures. We created a beautiful altar in our lounge room where we sit and meditate first thing in the morning, and, bringing sacred objects to sit on that sacred altar. It completely, within a matter of hours, transformed the energy, not only of the space, but the energy of our relationship. So energy is everything. Everything is energy. And if the space doesn't have the energy that you want, if it's not supporting the things you want, then you've got to bring more things in. So, bring in more color, bring in light, bring in fragrance, bring in the incense or essential oils, bring in more nature, more life force through, potted plants or flowers, or bring in symbols of the things that you're manifesting, a vision board up on the wall or a money plant, or, when I'm working with people who want to manifest a new partner in their life, I say, if that partner was to walk into your home right now, would they feel welcome? Would there be space for them? So clear out a shelf in your bathroom for your partner to be able to put their things there. Clear out a drawer in the bedside table. Clear out a shelf in your wardrobe. Make space for the things that you want to bring in.
Yeah, so true.
And then the last step to really level up your space, and something that you've already mentioned, Danielle, is clearing the space physically and energetically. So physically clearing the space every few weeks, I think, is really powerful, particularly if you're sharing space with other people whose energies might be, operating at a lower vibrational frequency to where you want to be living your life. So
we Nick's got this thing where on the weekend he will open every window, every door of the house where, it doesn't matter what the weather is outside, he just opens up all the windows, all the doors, everything's open. I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm airing out the house. I'm airing out everything here. And it's like it really does. It does air the house out. It changes the energy of the space as well. And it feels clear. It feels clean. Like all the little niggly dark energy that's in the house that's, we've brought into the space is just all blown out. And, by the end of the weekend, the house just feels so different because it's just had this fresh air, fresh energy that's come into our spaces, which is beautiful.
We got to bring Guru Nick onto the podcast, interview him, because he's spot on. That's how you clear the space. You open up the windows, open up the curtains and the blinds, get the air in, moving through, open up the front door and the back door, bring in more light, go around with your sage stick or for smudging, or, just light a candle and move it through the space, or use citrus oils or rosemary. They're, really good oils for creating a space clearing spray, and get the energy moving, particularly when, energy tends to circulate. So if it can't circulate because there's a lot of furniture filling the space, or, it can't circulate in corners, so particularly. So like go into those corners and bring your sage into the corner, or bring your essential oils into the corner, or just, wave your hands through the space to get the air moving. And Nick's strategy of opening everything up so that the winds blow right through and clear out the heaviness of the week is absolutely brilliant. The other thing you can use is actually sound. So, maybe you've got, maybe you've got a Tibetan bowl, or you've got a bell, or you can even use the sound. I won't do it because I don't want to blow away the microphone, but you can, clap your hands to use sound. What is sound? Sound is a vibration. What is energy? A vibration. So when you clap your hands together, you start to move the energy in the space through sound. So clear the energy of your spaces regularly and bring in the new energy that you want to have occupying the space to help transform your own personal energy and elevate your vibrational frequency to bring in more of whatever the abundance is that you're wanting to manifest in your life, because you are your own energy boss, and you are the boss of the spaces and the energy within them that you occupy.
And most importantly of all of that is notice how you feel afterwards. Like notice how you feel in those spaces after you've done a big clearing of the space. And I can tell you, We can tell you it always feels great. And if something doesn't feel great after you've cleared it, lean into it to feel what else needs to shift for it to feel right for you. Because if you've cleared it all, if you've moved the stuff, the energy has moved, it should feel amazing in that space. So here's your invitation for this week. Look at all the spaces in your home, in your workspaces, and give them a good clear out to level up the energy you're surrounding yourself with. And do, as we said earlier, like do a room at a time or a workspace at a time and just work through it this week and notice how it feels after you've done a clean out of those spaces, because I'm telling you, it will make such a huge difference to your energy on every single level.
I second that wholeheartedly.
And if you want to hang out in a really good space, like the best space you've ever hung out in next year, we are super excited to invite you to our first Level Up Night, which is happening in February in Melbourne. And we would love you to be part of the energy and join us. So to register, visit the Juliet website, which is at www.luyip.com to register for our Level Up Nights to really help you shift and transform your energy with other like-hearted people. Because when we do this work together, it amplifies the energy and power for everyone. If today's episode hit home and you're feeling that nudge to really start looking at the spaces you're in and clearing out the energy and start taking charge of your own energy like the energy boss that you are, perhaps share this with someone who's ready to rise with you. And until next time, own your energy, clear your energy in the spaces around you, and protect your energy, because you are the chief energy officer of your life. Now go run it like the powerhouse that you are.